Some people chase success, others find peace, but the rarest ones, they discover what truly matters. Ethan Hayes stepped out of his sleek black Mercedes, adjusting the cuffs of his tailored suit. The towering estate in front of him wasn't his. At least, not yet. If today's deal went well, he'd be adding another billion-dollar property to his real estate empire. He barely noticed the staff tending to the manicured gardens. His mind was already in the boardroom, calculating numbers, preparing his next move. But then he saw him. A man, dressed in worn-out jeans and a faded t-shirt, kneeling in the dirt, carefully trimming the hedges. His back was turned, but something about him felt familiar. Ethan frowned, stepping closer. The man straightened, wiping sweat from his brow, then turned. Ethan's breath caught. No way. The gardener froze, his eyes widening in shock. Ethan? Ethan blinked, barely believing what he was seeing. The man standing before him wasn't just any gardener. It was Ryan Carter, his best friend from college. The same Ryan who once sat beside him in late-night study sessions, dreaming of success. The same Ryan who once swore they'd take over the world together. And now, one of them was a billionaire. The other was cutting grass. Ethan's chest tightened. What the hell happened to you, Ryan? And more importantly, why? Ethan couldn't stop staring. Ryan Carter, his closest friend from college, the guy who once had the brightest future of anyone he knew. And now he was standing in front of him, covered in dirt, a pair of garden shears in his hand. Ryan chuckled awkwardly, scratching the back of his head. Didn't think I'd run into you here. Ethan found his voice. Run into me? Ryan, what the hell? What are you doing here? He gestured toward the neatly trimmed bushes. This isn't you. Ryan exhaled, shaking his head. It is now. Ethan frowned. I don't get it. You were supposed to be an engineer. You had offers from the top firms. He hesitated. You were the smartest guy in our class. Ryan smirked. Still am. Ethan wasn't laughing. Then what happened? Ryan's expression shifted. Just for a second, something flickered in his eyes, something Ethan didn't recognize. Then, just as quickly, Ryan shrugged. Life happened. Ethan clenched his jaw. That's not an answer. Come on, man. You don't just go from designing skyscrapers to planting tulips. What really happened? Ryan hesitated. Then finally he sighed. My dad got sick, needed round-the-clock care. The medical bills wiped us out. I had to drop everything, move back home, and take whatever work I could. He glanced around. This job? It pays just enough to keep us afloat. Ethan's stomach twisted. Ryan, the guy who once dreamed bigger than anyone, had spent the last few years just surviving. And Ethan had no idea. A bitter laugh escaped Ryan. Guess we both took different paths, huh? Ethan was silent for a long moment. Then his jaw tightened. No, he shook his head. This isn't your path. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Oh yeah? Then what is? Ethan didn't hesitate. Come work for me. Ryan blinked. What? I'm serious, Ethan said. You were always the best at what you did. I have a position open at my firm. Engineering, real work, not this. He gestured toward the garden. Ryan let out a dry laugh. Ethan, I appreciate it, but... Ethan cut him off. No but. You didn't stop being brilliant just because life hit you hard. You deserve better, and I'm giving you the chance to take it. Ryan was quiet. His fingers tightened around the shears. For the first time, Ethan saw the hesitation, the fear of hoping for something better. Then, Ryan exhaled, shaking his head with a smirk, you really don't take no for an answer, do you? Ethan grinned. Not when I know I'm right. Ryan hesitated for only a second longer. Then finally, he nodded. All right, he said. Let's see where this path leads. Ethan clapped a hand on his shoulder. You won't regret it. As they walked away from the garden together, Ethan realized something. He had spent years building his empire. But today, he had rebuilt a friend's future. Success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about bringing others up with you. The next few weeks moved fast. Ryan stepped into a whole new world. Gone were the dirt-stained clothes and garden shears. Now, he walked through the towering glass doors of Hayes Industries, dressed in a crisp suit Ethan had insisted on buying him. At first, he felt out of place. The office was massive, filled with sharp-dressed professionals discussing million-dollar projects. But then, something clicked. The blueprints, the designs, the engineering work Ethan handed him. This was where he belonged. One evening, after a long day of reviewing a skyscraper project, Ryan leaned back in his chair, shaking his head. "I forgot how much I love this." Ethan smirked from across the desk. "Told you." Ryan exhaled. "I still can't believe this is real. 2 months ago I was trimming hedges," he chuckled. "Now, I'm designing buildings." Ethan leaned forward. "Because I know who you are, Ryan. Life knocked you down, but it didn't take away your talent. It didn't take away your mind." Ryan nodded slowly, his expression unreadable. "You know, when I took that gardening job, I told myself that was it, that I'd never get back here." He looked up. "You changed that." Ethan's smirk softened. "You would have found your way back eventually." Ryan shook his head. "Maybe, but not like this, not this fast." His voice grew serious. "You didn't just give me a job, Ethan. You gave me my life back." Ethan exhaled, leaning back. "That's what friends do." Ryan studied him for a long moment before smirking. "So, what now?" Ethan grinned. "Now, we build something legendary." Ryan laughed, shaking his head. "Sounds like college all over again." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, except now, we actually have the money to do it." As they shook hands, a quiet understanding passed between them. Ethan had built an empire. Ryan had found his way back. And together, they were about to change everything. Success means nothing if you leave the right people behind. The real power is in bringing them with you. Months passed, and Ryan didn't just adjust to his new life, he thrived. The once struggling gardener was now an architect of the future, leading major projects under Ethan's company. His sharp mind, buried for years under survival mode, was now at work designing skyscrapers, bridges, entire city blocks. One afternoon, Ethan walked into Ryan's office, watching as his old friend sketched a design with the same fire he had in college. Ethan smirked. "Didn't I tell you?" Ryan looked up, raising an eyebrow. "Tell me what?" Ethan gestured around. "That you weren't meant to be out in some garden, trimming hedges." Ryan chuckled, leaning back. Yeah, guess I owe you a "you were right." Ethan grinned. "I'd prefer a drink." That night, they met at a rooftop bar, the city skyline stretching out beneath them, a city that Ryan was now helping to shape. As they clinked glasses, Ryan exhaled, looking over the city lights. "You know, there was a time I thought my life was just done, that I'd missed my shot." He glanced at Ethan. "You changed that." Ethan's smirk faded into something more serious. "I didn't do anything, Ryan. You did. I just reminded you of who you are." Ryan shook his head. "No, you gave me something no one else did." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "And what's that?" Ryan smiled. "A second chance." The wind blew around them, carrying their laughter into the night. Ethan had built his empire alone, but now he had his best friend beside him. And together, they were going to build something even greater. True success isn't measured by money. It's measured by the people you bring back from the edge. And if you're lucky, you might just build something legendary together.